What's going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson here on the Sports Arena on a Monday night. As always, you know what it is. We got a jam-packed show, so let's get right into it. Had a little bit of late start time this evening, but I got the crew here with me tonight. Before we get started, shout out to our man, John Shear. He's a little under the weather. John, man, you know we love you. Can't wait to see you back. Many prayers and blessings for you for a speedy recovery. Take care of yourself. Take care of the beautiful family of yours. Let me welcome in the crew tonight. So we've got a special guest joining us. He does Basket Bros. He does the Gauntlet. I mean, this brother is all over Sideline Sports Network. It's our man, Denzel Snipes in the building. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good
to see you.
Hey. Good to see you, brother, man. Thanks for having me back on.
Hey, you know it. You know how it is. Let me go ahead and get our Queen of Hoops in here. Miss Megan Price is chilling. She's got a Longhorn shirt on, so I know she's in the building representing. What's up, Megan?
How's everybody doing? We're in the World Series right now in the semis. So, if I'm a little distracted, I'm still here. But, big game, big game.
I feel you. Last but not least, our brother out on there on the left coast, my brother, Mr. Mike Caratanudo. What's up, Mike?
What up, man? I'm just enjoying this game, too. Megan's Longhorns got a nice little victory. I was really stoked when UCLA punched Oklahoma in the mouth, showed them a little Pac-12 softball. But hey, Oklahoma's got good hitters, man. They're going to be tough to beat twice for anybody. So I can admit that. Okay. I'm not like SEC.
Well, we're going to talk about.
I'm not like SEC fan. I can admit it, Eric.
Okay.
I'm out.
We're going to get into that a little bit later on. But you know what? Let's do as we do each and every Monday night and Wednesday night live, 10 p.m. Eastern here on the Sports Arena. Let's start the conversation here. So we are coming up to Game 3 of the NBA Finals. You know, I just love the W, so we're going to get into that a little bit later. But the NBA Finals series is tied 1-1. So I'm going to start with our Queen of Hoops and simply ask this question, as you can see here on the screen. Miss Megan Price, which team has the edge moving into Game 3?
I'm going to say I definitely think Golden State does. I think last night was a statement win. And even though game 1, Boston was able to still won in Golden State, I still feel like I just give the edge to Golden State. I think they came back. That was a game that got their momentum back. I do think that this is going to go 6 games. So I have Boston winning at least one more. And I think that's going to be game 4. And then Golden State's going to come back and finish it in Boston in Game 6.
Wow, already jumping out saying still she believes that the Warriors are going to be in 6. You know, my brother Denzel, man, let me get your thoughts and opinion on this, man. Who you got winning? Who has the edge, basically?
Well, I would say as of right now, the edge, even though Golden State did take Game 2, and as I mentioned earlier tonight, that this is going to be Golden State's get-back game. I pretty much expected them to win last night, but it is going to be a rowdy TD Garden come Wednesday. And with that being said, I'm going to give Boston the edge. If they were going back to Massachusetts down 0-2, of course it'd be Golden State. But Boston's going to need every bit of this crowd, and they're also going to need every bit of everyone showing up. 2 factors that stood out to me last game as to why they didn't win. 1, 2 of their starters combined for 4 points. You know, that's a no-go in any situation. Also, number 2 is taking care of the basketball. To me, I feel like it's easy fixes. Of course, with Golden State, easier said than done. But as far as who had the edge, I'm going to say Boston actually kind of has it right now, considering that they're going back home.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, Mike, before I get to you, I just want to mention a couple of things. I mean, listen, we knew that Boston is one of the best defensive teams, if not the best defensive team in the league right now. You know what I mean? And again, let's look at the history. They swept Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and the Brooklyn Nets. Then they show up and beat the champs. As we like to say, to beat a man, whoa, you got to beat the man. And that's exactly what they did. They beat Giannis. And people are saying, well, if Chris Middleton would have played, if it was a 5th, like I said, this always would be the sip-off. But that's not the point.
Thank you.
You move forward, and then you face a team who, pound for pound, on the defensive side of the ball is one of the best in the Miami Heat. Shout out again to our man, John Shear. So it's like, You went through all that, and now you have to face arguably a team that is back in the NBA Finals for the sixth time in 8 years. Okay. They've got 3 championships. So, I mean, it stands to reason that, yes, this is the Warriors' season and the Warriors' time to kind of cement themselves as one of those teams that when we look back in the archives, when we go through the history of the NBA, we are going to say that this Golden State Warriors team is one of those teams that could not be ignored. But I say all that to say, Mike, are we still not giving Boston the respect that they have earned?
If anybody's not, I think they're crazy, Eric. I mean, that's, again, we've talked about since I mean, the turn of the calendar, but since basically the end of January through the end of the regular season, it's well noted what they've done and how good they have been. So when I look at it, I just look at it like you can't take away from what they can do defensively. Ime Udoka has proven that they can adjust. So on that side, yeah, like Denzel said, I mean, that's kind of been the storyline of the day. You can't have two starters have 2 points apiece. I mean, look, the four of us could go out onto a court, even with all those great players, and we could still chuck a shot and get 2 points. I'm very confident in that. I'm very confident we could do that. But no, all kidding aside, that being said, like Boston has made adjustments all season long, ever since they kind of had the coming to God moment with being not where they feel they should be and playing defense. So I don't think that anybody's overlooking them. The one thing I will say, too, is I know Klay Thompson stayed in the game longer last night. They were surprised because Steph was out, just kind of chilling. And they're talking about it. Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy brought up the great point. They're trying to get him into a rhythm. And, you know, for his first season, I mean, obviously this half season back, but coming back, like he has accomplished a lot. But I think it is important for Kerr to leave him on the floor because that's another thing. We saw what Steph did in the first quarter of game one and then even in game one. And then last night with the way the defense goes to him. And Klay Thompson gets going and Jordan Poole's hitting Steph Curry shots. It's going to be tough for Boston, but Boston's not going to get pushed around down low, Eric. So if anybody's overlooking them and think that Golden State won that game, they're just going to take the next three, they're outside their mind.
Okay, fair enough. So, but let me ask this question, and I'm going to pose this question to the entire group. We know what the Golden State Warriors, when put together, everybody healthy, from Steph to Klay to Draymond and their whole entire bench, we know what they're capable of. Here's my question to each one of y'all, and I'll start with Megan. Have we seen the best of the Boston Celtics, or is the best yet to come in this series? There you go. Sorry, Megan. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. I think we probably have seen the best of them. I do think they're going to catch one more win, but I think it's going to be a close game. And I just don't think they're going to be able to hang with Golden State. And just want to shout out Rob's comment. You know, yes, Chef Megan with the shot. Definitely will be able to take the shot. But I just think Golden State is on a roll. I think they've been on a roll since round one. They've gone through a lot of adversity to get here. And while Boston went through a lot of adversity to get here as well, I still feel like, and I've said this before, that coaching matters. And even Udoka is in his rookie season as head coach. So I feel like that's going to play a factor, but congratulations to them for making it here. They defied all odds. They defied me every single game. And, congratulations to them.
Okay. So Denzel, let me go to you then and ask this question. If you are the Splash Brothers and Draymond, you know you've got Jordan Poole, who is a star in his own right. You have Wiggins. You know, you have all these cast of characters. Was that just a fork or a hiccup for the Golden State? Like, are they going to take these next three? Because Megan is saying they're going to go, Boston's going to get one more, and saying Warriors in 6. I also have said Warriors in 6. You have not, sir, at least on this show, not given us your assessment of the final. So let me hear from you and how you think about it.
Well, I said the same also. I had said Warriors in 6. I feel like the Golden State Warriors, they felt they had to get back to being the Golden State Warriors, and that is being able to come back from being coming back from adversity. Now with that being said, yes, you have a Clay, you have a Steph, you have a Wiggins, you have a Draymond. You know, you still got Looney down low posting up and such. And so with the Golden State Warriors, because we talk about Udoka making adjustments and everything, he's very good. But I mean, nobody in the league is better at making adjustments than Steve Kerr. So let's not exactly throw that in the trash can. You know. For the Golden State Warriors, and like I said, last night was the get back game. I think they feel like, okay, now we're in this series. The only thing that I would like to see is for Clay to finally show up because he's had 2 pedestrian games. Do I feel he will show up? Yes. But with that being said, the Golden State Warriors, they have to get back to playing their brand of basketball, and they have to keep the ball out of Jason Tatum's hands as much as humanly possible. They do that. I think it still goes 6 games. Boston could get them one more. I don't think that we'll see another 26-point game from Al Horford necessarily. But if they can keep that bench under control and keep the ball out of their hands as much as possible, because I mean, you limit Jason Tatum to 12 points, you're theoretically supposed to win that game. But I think Golden State gets back to playing Golden State basketball, in which they're on their way if they're not right now already, and Golden State in 6.
Fair enough. And shout out to our man James in the comments. Yes, we do know my brother's name is Jay Nelson, but I just like Denzel Snipes, so I'm going to call him Denzel. Anyhow, Mike, I'm going to give you the final set on this, my brother. Talk to me about this matchup. And again, we focus so much about the Warriors. So if you're Boston and you're hearing all this talk, what's your mindset going into? Because game 3 and game 4, like we said, they're back at TD. Is it still TD Waterhouse? I don't know. Arena's changed so much nowadays.
TD Garden, something like that, yeah.
TD Garden. But I mean, you have to know this. We all know this. It's game 3. You're tied 1-1. You're back home. The crowd is going to be, we know what that Boston crowd is going to be like. So, Megan, you say they're going to get one. I think, and it pains me to say it, but I really feel like Boston might be able to get both of these at home. But I'm going to go to Mike on it.
Yeah, I mean, I see James in the comments saying Golden State in 5. Man, come on. Look, I get when we make predictions. We all agree Golden State's going to win. I think it's in 7, Eric. To me, they're not losing. I think if Golden State is to get one, I'm backwards. I think with a lot of what I've read today, because people say, oh, the momentum now, and Golden State knows they need to go in. Eric, you just said it. That crowd is going to be insane. So to look at it and think that Golden State's not going to get, or that Boston's not going to come out. And yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think we're going to see 26 from Horford, but I mean, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, what they can do. And even like guys off the bench, I mean, even in game 1, I mean, Pritchard hit surprise. I won't say surprisingly, he's a 3-point shooter, but they left him open surprisingly to hit some shots. They have guys that can just sit there and hit shots. I think it was not Marcus Smart, Derek White. Yeah, Derek White obviously had a big game 1 and then came down a little bit in game 2. But look, we know who Golden State is. I agree with everything that we've said, because when you have, and even when you have a vet, even though I know he didn't play yesterday, he warmed up, but like you have that veteran presence of Andre Iguodala on the bench just to kind of point things out to, he can talk to, somebody like Draymond and Clay and Steph, but with Steve Kerr too. So yeah, Boston's going to come out and ball. I mean, Jason Tatum, you're right. Try and keep the ball out of his hands, but I just think Boston gets tomorrow night's game. I think Golden State wins game 4. Nobody's going to win 2 in a row, but then I think it goes 7. I think they win it on their court in San Francisco, because I'm sticking with it from the beginning. I mean, besides Philly, to me, it was always Boston. If Boston plays the defense they can make anybody struggle.
Mike,
All
you're
right,
really
fair
gonna bring Iggy into it? Like Iggy's gonna be the X factor?
No, I didn't say X factor.
No.
I meant his experience on the bench talking to people.
Okay.
Look, I can't stand it.
And that's all he can
where
do.
him and Steve
He
Kerr
needs
went
to
to
hang it
school,
up.
Megan, right?
He needs to hang it up. It's over.
No, he doesn't hang it up. But you know where him and Steve Kerr went to school, right? I can't stand that. I hate complimenting them. So therefore, if they didn't go to that school, Like, I don't want to compliment them, but it's true. Like, it's just having that.
Okay, because if there's going to be an X factor, it's going to be GP2. That's who it's going to be.
No, I didn't mean X. I'm just saying you have him on the bench to sit there and if he has to go in and play spot defense for 2-3 minutes, he can do it. They don't need him to score. They need him to just be long and play defense. He proved he could still do it a little bit. Again, I think this is his last year. I'm 100% with you, but at the same time, like, that experience, it's like having another coach that's getting, probably paid a little bit more than an assistant coach to be there on the bench and be that guy. And if he needs to go in, he can. I know he didn't play. I'm just saying that experience. But yeah, to me, Wiggins, and you're saying Gary Payton II, obviously, but to me, Wiggins, and I said it on our first show, I thought Wiggins, when we were talking last week, I thought Wiggins to me was could be the biggest X factor because of what everybody expects from Steph, Clay. You don't expect Draymond to score. You expect the defense. You're looking at everybody coming off the bench. But to me, Wiggins is that guy that could just light it up and go off. And then you add Jordan Poole. But yeah, I'm not going to say Iggy's going to win the MVP.
I'm like, the only thing he has done is give advice from the bench for 3 seasons. Like, come on now.
Hey, he played a little bit the other day. I'm just saying, either way, it works. It works out well for them. And I can't say they went to school, so it's fine. I'm not going to mention that school, but
okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Stick a pin in this, y'all. We're going to take a break. When we come back, every team in the WNBA played yesterday. 6 games, a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to recap, and of course, we're going to answer some questions. So more with the crew when we come back. Shout out to our graphics guy, Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, we are debuting his commercial here live on the Sports Arena tonight. So make sure you check my brother out. A lot of good stuff. We'll be back in just a moment.
Perfect.
Welcome back into the Sports Arena on a Monday night. Your man Eric Wilson alongside our special guest from the Gauntlet, from Basket Bros, part of the Sideline Sports Network family, our man Jay Nelson, a.k.a. Denzel Snipes, our queen of hoops, Megan Price, and out there on the left comes my brother Mike Caratanudo. So let's keep it moving because, like I said, every team, there are 12 teams in the WNBA. Every single one of those teams played yesterday. I believe we had 3, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 or 4 Commissioner Cup games.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had a bunch. It was either 3 or 4. But, I mean, let's start breaking down some of these games, if you will, please. And I'm going to start with, and I can't believe I'm going here with this, but man, how personnel changes make a difference. Minnesota beating the New York Liberty, holding off the New York Liberty, mind you, because the Liberty were making their way back into this game yesterday. But Sylvia Fowles and that whole entire squad under Coach Cheryl Reeve finding a way to beat Sabrina Ionescu, Stephanie Dolson, Sandy Brondello and the rest of the Liberty team, coached by Sandy Brondello, of course. So, Megan Price, talk to me about this matchup yesterday.
Well, we saw Sabrina go for her second 30-point plus game. Unfortunately, this one was in a loss. The previous one was against Washington, and they were able to get the win with that one. And not too far off from a triple-double. She had 31, 7, and 5. And then also Howard for that team had 23 and 5. And but the Lynx just had too much going for them. They had Ariel Powers, who was the top performer of the game. She had 27, 2, and 7. Still had 18, 1, and 8. She's a walking double-double. So a little surprised that she didn't hit her double-double that night. If you had the prop bets going, you probably lost that one. And then McBride as well, who's turned out to be a really great pickup for them, had 18 points. I think that New York is just going through some growing pains. But when I say that they're going through growing pains, I mean that they're going through some injuries. But Nija Laney has not been playing, and she is an integral part of that roster. And then Rookie of the Year, also Michaela Onyenwere, she hasn't played either. And also, we have not seen Dee Richards this year, who could have possibly made a run at Rookie of the Year last year as well. So I think they're missing 3 big parts to their roster. And when you're missing 3 big parts, you're going to struggle. So I don't think this is on Sandy. I think you got to give Sandy a little bit of time. But I think she was the right one for the job. And close game, really close game.
But again, I mean, Onyenwere did play yesterday, 18 minutes. She had 8 points.
Right.
So, I mean, you talk about these growing pains. And listen, we know what Benijah Laney is capable of. We know what Dee Richards is capable of. But here's the one name you didn't bring up that I want to get your thoughts on. What about Crystal Dangerfield?
You know, we saw Crystal, and she actually came from the Minnesota Lynx. I think maybe, possibly, her better days are behind her. She has had some serious injuries in the last 2 seasons, and was part of that. I think that was part of the reason that she got cut from Minnesota. I'm just going to say, I think her best days are behind her.
Okay, that's fair. Fair enough. Let's move on to another game. And Mike, I know it was the late game, but for you, it was right on time. Let's talk about your Phoenix Mercury playing the Los Angeles Sparks. So, Mike, talk to me about this matchup, because the Mercury did, in fact, beat the Sparks 81-74.
Yes, they did. And that little tiff we talked about last week between Skylar Diggins-Smith and Diana Taurasi, I mean, I think it fired them both up. I mean, Skylar Diggins-Smith had 29 points, and the Mercury outscored him in the first and the fourth quarter. Again, it's tough. They're dealing with injuries too, and I mean, Megan mentioned it's time of this. I mean, they're 11 games in, they're 3-8, and Taurasi, after they lost to the Sun, I mean, the press conference was pretty eye-opening. She's like, "We're in these games, we should be winning. We're right there, but we're not finishing." And it's annoying because we know where we need to be, but it's also encouraging because we're right where we're going to be, right where we need to be. So, look, I hope it can no pun intended, since they beat up on Megan's favorite coach in the Sparks. But I hope it should spark something, I think, because I just think they're too good. And I think, working Diamond DeShields in too. I mean, she had 11 yesterday. And again, we all know chemistry. It takes a minute, not using it as an excuse. I mean, Shea Petty off the bench had 10 points too. So it's good to see. I mean, I wish that they could, I hope that they can all be healthy-ish soon, because when they have moved the ball and when they hit those open shots, because it's been frustrating too, Eric. I talked about it, even the game against Chicago, and I was saying to you, I was frustrated because I'm not saying Chicago wouldn't have won the game, but there was quite a few open shots in the first half where somebody set a great screen, somebody's wide open, 10, 12 feet away, brick, miss. So it's frustrating, but I just think sometimes you need, again, going through something like this is not for a team that it has championship aspirations and has that DNA. But it's good to see. And I know maybe the Sparks might not be the best team, but it's always nice to get right against LA when you're here in Phoenix, Eric.
No, listen, and I get that. Here's my thing, and I guess I just didn't realize it. The Phoenix Mercury are playing with 7 players
pretty much
on their roster right now. I mean, they have a total of 9, but 2 didn't play yesterday.
Yep.
And they still found a way to beat the Sparks, who are fully loaded from top to bottom. So, again, Sparks 5-7, Phoenix 3-8. We'll see how they transpire and how they progress forward. So I'm gonna take a moment.
Real quick.
Sure.
On the other side of it, I think you got to shout out Naneka. She has been doing crazy things. She had 19 and 17 yesterday, and while being the top scorer, that's a problem. They definitely need a few more points on the board, but those 17 boards, and she's been close to averaging a triple double. Now, Asia Wilson's the only one actually averaging a triple double, and De'Erica Hamby was really close. She was averaging a double double, but right behind them is NECA. So. LA is improved. They're not the greatest team out there, but they have improved. And like you said about the Mercury, Tina Charles did not play. We haven't seen Kia Nurse this season yet. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, she's been. I know she's been practicing, but yeah, she's been on the. She's been out injury wise too, and I keep getting those updates, and it's frustrating, but yeah, hey, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, especially when you've done. And Eric, you guys all know this. I mean, when any team at any sport does as much winning in general as they've done, nobody's really going to feel sorry for you.
True. I mean, but it sucks to see DT putting up 30 plus points in losses, and 20 plus points in losses. Like she hasn't been balling out majorly, like consistently in every single game, but she's had big games.
Yeah. I will agree with you. If she wouldn't have got that technical, I think that the matchup that would have happened between the Mercury and the Sky would have been a little more. Speaking of the reigning, defending, undisputed 2021 WNBA World Champion Chicago Sky, I'm going to take my moment here and show my love to my squad, of course, because that's what I do every chance I get here on the sports arena. Now, listen, here's what I will say. It's one thing when you go into somebody else's house and beat them. It's another thing when you play them not that far removed from it. And Emma Mieseman just has it in her mind that when she plays the Washington Mystics, she is going to do everything in her power to make sure that they do not get a W. Oh, and on top of that, the MVP, Mrs. Worldwide from the 215, Kalia Copper, another person who was drafted to the Mystics, now with the Sky. There just seems to be that there's this different mode that these two young women get into when they play the Washington Mystics. Like, oh, you traded us? Oh, you let us go? Okay, we finna remind you, whether you come to us or we go to you, who the hell we are. And the energy that was there was just ridiculous. Not to mention the second year Dana Evans from the Bean in Chicago putting up that half-court shot. I mean, listen, all I can say is I'm ecstatic to see the rematch between these two teams, which does happen on Wednesday back in Washington. We'll see what happens there. But for this moment, it is truly about the Sky. The one thing that I do want to bring up is if you look at the Sky, no one player is being the player of the night, if you will, the dominant force. It is a collection of what this team is doing. And granted, defense has always been the mindset of James Wade. But now we're starting to see the offense form, and now we're starting to see the chemistry come together. Rolling into a period where, even with the extended season, these games are now going to become even more important. And the fact that they are still, they're the top of the East in the Commissioner's Cup. They are undefeated. And then the Las Vegas Aces in the West are undefeated in the Commissioner's Cup. That is setting up, if everything falls into place, that is setting up to be a great matchup. I'm going to give y'all the opportunity. Anybody have anything they want to say with regards to the Sky and the Mystic before we move on?
Well, yeah. I mean, how can you not say Candace Parker's 12 points, but 13 boards?
13 boards, yeah.
Yeah.
Had the triple-double. I mean, look, I can compliment your reigning, defending,
it's
whatever.
Candace Parker. It's one of those things where I guess I'm kind of just it's an expectation that I'm just used to because I know what Candace is about. But yes, Mike, my apologies. 13 rebounds, 12 points. I mean, Candace is just doing Candace things.
6 assists, and Megan actually complimented Derek Fisher's coaching. That's crazy.
I did not. I said NECA is healthy. That's what I said. I said NECA is healthy and balling.
But Megan, I mean, he is her coach. He is her coach.
I don't care.
Okay.
I will compliment you guys. I will
brother.
compliment y'all on getting Dana Evans from us. We did draft her, and we actually cut the person that we kept over her. And so, I mean, happy for her. She's just champion, and she's doing great things over there in Chicago. But I am sick.
Listen, James Wade keeps telling the general manager of the Sky, yeah, you messed up on that one. You better be thankful that you got her when you were able to get her. So,
yeah.
He just looks in the mirror when he has that conversation. Right. My man, Jay Nelson, Denzel Snipes, talk to me, man. Give me something about this, a team that we haven't really spoke about much here on the sports arena, but it is, in fact, the Seattle Storm. Talk to me about them, my brother, because they lost one yesterday at home to the Connecticut Sun. So talk to me about that.
They dropped to the Connecticut Sun 93-86. And on paper, it appears to be a game that Seattle, in theory, should have lost because that improved Connecticut to 9-3. When you look at the stat sheet, Breonna Stewart had 12, but I mean, you had 4 out of 5 starters go in double-digit points. McBayer had 19, Super at 17, Lloyd at 16. So you kind of think, what went wrong? And then you look at Connecticut and Jones at 25 and Bonner at 21. But there was one thing that I wanted to point out in particular that was alarming to me, and that is how the Seattle Storm actually lead the league in blocks with 5.1 per game and steals at 9.6 per game. Yet they rank 10th out of 12 teams in points. So what we're seeing here with the Seattle Storm is, to a certain extent, the 5-5 record is justified. It's almost like the universe evens out, because whenever you're at the tippy top or near the tippy top of statistical categories in defense, but you're way at the bottom on offense, that's what kind of, it balances out. But I think the Seattle Storm is actually, they could be a little bit better than what they really are, because what we're seeing here is a lack of scoring, because they're getting the stops. They're turning the ball, not turning the ball over. They're forcing the turnovers, mind you. They're just not converting it into much points. So I think that if they can, just improve from 10 and get to maybe like a 7 or 6 in the league or whatever, you could be looking at Seattle, because I think last I checked they're like the 7th seed, but I think that they could be a much higher seed than what they are right now. But what we're seeing is a lack of scoring from them. I don't think it's fair to their defense and whatnot. The defense is there. They just got to put the ball in the hoop more often.
You know what's
funny?
Of
three of those steals a game are coming from Stewie, because she averaging 3 steals a game. That's ridiculous.
Yes. No, she is. But you know what's funny about that? Think about it like this. That was between all 6 out of all 6 games, that was the most points scored between 2 teams. With the exception of the Sky, if Seattle would have played anybody else yesterday, they'd have got the dub. 86, no one with the exception of the Sky. The Aces were at 84. We're going to get to them next, Megan. Don't think I forgot about you, because I'm coming straight to you on this one. Yeah,
I mean,
Megan.
It's the Aces.
Yeah, whatever.
All y'all teams losing to the Aces.
Okay. All right. So Megan Price, take your moment. Talk about your Dallas Wings and what happened.
I want to say it was a really close game, actually. We lost 84-78. We were within reach. We were within single digits the entire game. Alicia Gray did her thing. She had 24 and 9. Arike had 21, 3 and 7. And then Satu Sabali had 11, 2 and 10. I want to talk about a little bit about Satu. She came back. She was injured last season for a little while. We saw her at the end of it. She came back in a European League champion this season. But what she did in this game specifically is she held Asia Wilson at 8, 1, and 7, who I talked about earlier, who's been averaging a double-double. She's the only one in the league averaging a double-double. Then I think you got to talk about Kelsey Plum too. She dropped 32 on us, 32, 5, and 4. And then Chelsea Gray had 18, 4, and 5. And while that's not the most massive amount of points right there or assists, she's known for assists, I think those 18 points just came in super clutch moments. So congratulations to the Aces. They're far and away. I don't know if I'll say far and away, but definitely the best team in the league. And while they are not in the number one position, they are in the number one position in the West for the Commissioner's Cup as well. So currently, set as it is, it would be the Sky versus the Aces if the Commissioner's Cup started today. So they have no losses, the same as the Sky, no losses in Commissioner Cup games.
We coming for that $500,000, Megan.
Hey, I mean, I would too. I would too. I'm a little disappointed in what I've seen out of our big pickup in the free agency, which was Tierra McCowan. I just don't think we have quite figured out how to get her into that position. In the last 3 seasons, because she was drafted in 2019, she almost averaged a double-double as well. So I think we just have to figure out where to fit her in the rotations. And then I also feel like we gotta have Alicia Gray on the floor more. She's definitely stepped up this season. And while I love Izzy Harrison, I love her to death. She won Defensive Player of the Year for Athletes Unlimited. I think Lish has just stepped up. She brought that gold medal mentality.
Okay. All right. We got 2 more games to get to before we go to our next break. So here's what I'm going to say when I reference this team. Don't look now, ladies and gentlemen, but I truly believe the Atlanta Dream are going to surprise a lot of people. Mike, I'm going to come back to you on this one. Talk to me about what you've seen with Atlanta and, of course, their victory over the Indiana Fever.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana's been struggling. They had all those picks and they have a young team. But your point with Atlanta, I mean, we all know the tumultuous issue they had with ownership and, getting rid of an owner. But man, they've been I know it's early, but like you're getting consistent scoring. I mean, their top 2 scorers from last night, Coffey and Howard both had 16 points. So it's like you're getting balanced scoring. Who are you going to stop? I mean, it's Cheyenne Parker at 11, and then when I was looking at another person that had a phenomenal college career at some school, Ari McDonald, she had 12 points. So I mean, like, they're consistent, Eric, and it's like if you get that and you have a point guard in McDonald that just, again, might not be of the tallest stature but understands the game. And man, for Atlanta, hats off to them, because coming into the season, you're going to talk. We're obviously going to talk about Chicago, the defending champs. I mean, for me, like, can Phoenix do it? Obviously, Becky Hammond coming back, okay, but they lose Liz. Like, what's Vegas going to look like? What's Chicago going to look like? Everybody. I mean, like I said, we saw the draft picks Indiana has. They have definitely a very, very, I think, bright future. But yes, right now they're kind of struggling. I thought New York might be, would be, and again, they're injured too, be up there a little bit more. But I love what Atlanta's done so far. When you look at it, I mean, they held. Look, no matter what, they still held the craziest stat yesterday, Eric, when we were like talking about this, and I saw the box score yesterday. I'm like, that's got to be a misprint. They held Indiana to 9 first quarter points, man. 9.
Yeah.
9. Yeah, like, if you lose a game and you only held 9 points in the first quarter, then you definitely deserve to lose. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll just like to sit under everybody's radar. Go ahead, talk about Vegas, talk about Chicago, talk about whoever, Phoenix, whoever you want, and they can just kind of sit there. I mean, can they get it done in the playoffs? Obviously, that's to be seen. But man, hats off to the way they play, because I think when you look at most of their box scores this season, again, I don't look at every single one, but games I've seen of theirs, they're balanced, Eric. And I mean, I'm cool with somebody not having to have 30 points a game. I mean, if somebody gets 30, cool. But like, okay, cool. She had 16. She had 18. Oh, she had 12 and 15 assists. It's like, cool. How do you want to defend us? And they're just getting it, and they're playing great.
Megan, let me ask you really quick.
Change.
Megan, let me ask you real quick. Ryan Howard, Rookie of the Year.
Oh, that's the far and away. And that's who I was just about to talk about anyway. She definitely is that change for them. She brings in a winning mentality coming off of a team that beat South Carolina, who are the reigning champs currently. They beat them in the SEC tournament. And that was just shocking to see Kentucky do that. And while I knew how good she was going into the draft, and when she got drafted number 1, no surprise. I was surprised at how much of an impact she's had immediately with this team. We're talking about a team that is over 500. Nobody expected them to be over 500. And I mean, they're just blowing me away. I'm totally shocked by it. And I'm coming from a team who has a number 1 draft pick on their team recently. Like last year, we had the number 1 draft pick in Charlie Collier, and she didn't have the immediate impact that Ryan Howard has had. So, man, what a pickup for them.
Okay. So really quick, let's show everybody, just update everybody with the standings here, as you can see with the Commissioner Cup standings. So in the Eastern Conference, like I said before, Chicago, undefeated. Vegas, undefeated with regard to the Commissioner's Cup standing. Now, when we look at the regular standings, you can see here, Vegas only has 2 losses. And I think a lot of that has to do with Becky Hammon, as we've said. Coaching matters, to Megan Price's point. Connecticut Sun, I love what Kurt Miller is doing over there. And I know between Luana Bonner and Jonquel Jones and Brianna January.
Sun Devil, baby.
Yeah. Those 3 truly make
I think that what changed Connecticut for me, because they really didn't make a lot of changes in the offseason, but really what has even changed the way that their team works for me is them picking up Courtney Williams. Her speed is ridiculous. She speeds up their entire offense, and she's scrappy. She plays defense. She's going to steal the ball.
That's a matchup that I'm excited to see this Friday night when the Sun play the Sky, because you've got Kalia Copper, who brings that same intensity and that same energy and also that same speed. That's going to be a matchup. But again, Chicago in 3rd, Atlanta, Mike, to what we were saying, in 4th, and then rounding out the top 8 who do make into the postseason would be the Mystics, Megan Price's Dallas Wings, Denzel, Seattle Storm, and then, of course, the LA Sparks. I just, for all of the conversation, I'm going to leave it with this. I truly do not want Sylvia Fowles to go out like this. I know that we are a third of the way through the season. There's a 36-game season. We are 11, 12 games in. I just really want Minnesota to turn it around, because as great as she is, I just don't want her to go out like this. So that's just my point. That's what I'm going to say about it. We're going to take another break, guys. Show some love to DBNA TV. We'll be back in just a moment. We are going to transition to the NHL.
If you have a business, company, or product, and you want to reach the right audience, contact DBNA Television. DBNA TV reaches over 100,000 viewers a month and has advertising plans for all budgets. You can see your ads running on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, On Demand, and dozens of other top platforms for only $1 a day. Call our advertising sales department between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, at 484-695-5187. That's 484-695-5187. Make the call and then watch the results. It pays to advertise on the DBNA Television Network.
All right, welcome back on a Monday night to the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside Queen of Hoops, Megan Price. Our special guest from the Gauntlet, Jay Nelson, Denzel Snipes, and, of course, my man, Mike Harris-Nudo. So we got 2 more topics we want to get to, so I want to make sure we spend a lot of time and enough time on them. But let me ask this question to the crew. So it is the NHL Eastern Conference Finals, and the Stanley Cup is in play, but the New York Rangers have definitely kind of set the tone. That was up until yesterday. So with the Lightning winning Game 3 yesterday, has the momentum shifted back to Tampa with their win over the Rangers? Mike Harris-Nudo, I'm going to start with you.
I mean, look, it was a hell of a win. Obviously, you get the winning goal with 40 seconds left, and in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and that is phenomenal. So when you look at it that way, it's a big win. Momentum shifting back. I mean, I don't know. The Rangers haven't backed down, and man, it's complimenting a lot of teams I can't stand. Anyway, but the Rangers have not backed down. So the way they've played, the way they've come out in every game, I mean, they've somewhat dictated pace, and they definitely feel that they can go toe to toe with them. I mean, I know, the goal that got by usually could shake a young goalie up, but I think it's gonna be okay. Look, I have nothing obviously but respect for Tampa and what they can do. They are absolutely amazing. But I'm not gonna say so far momentum shifted back. All each team has done so far is defend their home ice, and I think that defensively, though, I think that New York has found something that works. I mean, the speed is just insane, but New York's been able to they've gotten some quick goals when they've gotten in the zone. But man, I don't know if momentum's back to Tampa, but each team has just defended their home ice, Eric. So that's what I see. Again, if New York can win tomorrow night, then that'll answer this question. If Tampa wins, then either way, whatever happens tomorrow night will answer this question. But I just don't think New York's going to back down. I mean, they're going to be frustrated, but I don't think the Rangers are going to be rattled by that.
Mike Carrottenuto doing Mike Carrottenuto things, not giving me a true answer. He's just going on which game and which team wins. So let me go over to Megan Price and ask her the exact same question. Megan, has the momentum shifted back to Tampa with their win over the Rangers?
I'm not ready to say that yet. I feel like everything that I read or watched or led up to this series, everybody was saying the Lightning is going to three-peat. Three-peat was the phrase going into these playoffs. And, everyone was thinking, the Rangers are going to get swept. Lightning is going to make it to the finals. They're going to win their third championship in a row. So when they allow the Rangers to win that second game, I really feel like, they definitely almost ready to press the panic button on the Lightning. So obviously I don't watch a ton of hockey, so you may not want to take my opinion on it. But for me, that really, really just kind of set a tone right there. Like, oh man, maybe not. Maybe they're not going to make it to the finals. So this is one series that I said I think is going to go 7, and I still say 7.
All right. So Denzel, let me go to you, brother. What do you think? Oh, hold on. I got you.
All right. So we could look at yesterday's game in one or two ways. Either A is just, I wouldn't go as far as saying anomaly. I mean, I'll say, that yesterday the Tampa Bay Lightning had to remind folks at home why they are the current NHL champions and winners of 2 straight at that, and gunning for a third, obviously. But one could also look at yesterday as, well, look what it took. It took, just like Michael said, it took a goal with 40 seconds to go to win. Otherwise, it goes to OT. NY probably gets them. Now it's 3-0. They had that motto, no quitting NY, for a reason. The New York Rangers, and I actually told Jake Malik this last week on Sideline Sports. I said, the New York Rangers overachieved. No matter how they finished this year, they overachieved, But that's also the beauty of, that statement is the season's not over with yet. I still think that New York has the momentum. Seeing as the first victory, it was a decisive one. The second one that they had was close also, but yesterday it came a little more than a hair from being 3-0 Rangers. So I think the Rangers actually still have the momentum. However, I'm not counting out Tampa Bay because they're 2-time winners for a reason.
So listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Yesterday, as I was watching this series, when the Rangers jump out to a 2-0 lead, I'm sitting here asking myself, is this the moment? Is this the moment where the Lightning fall? And then, of course, Kucherov does what he does. He finds a way, puts one in, and just electrifies that crowd, no pun intended. So it becomes a matter of, okay, who are the other players that step up? Who are the other pieces, those complementary pieces that we talk about here with regards to all the sports? that are going to kind of shape and form this team, because what we saw was, I mean, we call it a bounce back, if you will, but we saw the Lightning kind of remind us of the team that they, like I said, two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. All right. And to Megan's point, yeah, 3P. That's what everybody was talking about. Listen, like I said, it ain't called Tampa Bay and the 8-1-3 for nothing. But it's one of those things where there was a moment where I think the panic button was about to get pressed, because clearly, you know, and again, I don't have the exact numbers, but a team to rally back from an 0-3 deficit, even when you are the defending champs, that's a lot to ask. That's a tall order. So I am just mindful, because the Rangers, as Jay Nelson said, are playing with house money. No matter what happens with this series, the Rangers have overachieved. But as far as answering the question directly, the momentum shifting, I have to say there was a different feel. I think when people were leaving the arena yesterday, I think they're going to remind them. I would not be surprised if the Lightning peel off the next four. It would not surprise me at all. Mike, to your point, and as you said, you know, and as we all say, it truly doesn't start until the road team wins a game. If that happens in game 5, then I'm saying it's a foregone conclusion. But time will tell. Let's see how the Lightning, or more importantly, the Rangers, respond after that loss.
I did say it did not shift. I just said after that the look, I love what the Rangers have done all year. Again, it is frustrating, but they have been good. Watching a ton of their games.
Mike, you're not answering.
I did. I said that no, it did not switch. But
you said whoever wins tomorrow answers the question.
But I said that
That's what you said.
You'll answer the question by if it really did switch, and the Lightning, to Eric's point, which will dominate tomorrow night. If it really did flip that switch and they run off the next 3. But I'm just saying that's the question that you look at. If the Rangers come out flat, or not even flat, if the Rangers come out on their heels and they're seemingly now somehow intimidated, then they might as well just pack in the next 3.
Hey, Mike, you mind if I ask you a quick question?
Go ahead.
If it, I'm sorry, Eric, I just had to get this out. Just real quick. If the Rangers win Game 4 and it's 3-1, what are the chances? Just give me a ballpark percentage that Tampa comes back to win that series.
Ooh. Because it's Tampa, the highest I would ever give anybody is 35%. So I give Tampa 35%. Anybody else, pretty much anybody else would be under that. I say 35%.
That's right. I'm rock with it. Okay.
We're gonna move on to our last topic, and I'm gonna turn the reins over to our girl, Miss Megan Hoops, because Megan Hoops, yes, that's your new name, Megan.
Okay.
Queen of Hoops, Price, Megan Hoops. Megan, talk to us about this. It is the semifinals of the NCAA Women's College World Series.
And so, you know, when we were creating the lineup, there were still a few games that were going to be played today. So just to recap real quick, UCLA played OU. They won the first game 7-3, forced a winner-take-all game, and were defeated 15-0. Texas just played their first game and defeated OK State 5-0 and forced a winner-take-all game, which is currently happening right now. They are at the top of the 4th, 5th. And OK State is up 5-3, but Texas just got a 3-run homer. So, and we're still up to bat at the moment. So, still a game. OU is going to be going to the finals, and whoever wins this game will be playing them. Texas, if they have to play them, will have to force a second game. We'll have to beat them twice in order to win. And same for OK State, I believe. So prediction-wise, I still think OU is probably going to take it all. I think they're just kind of on a crash course to do that. It pains me to say that because Texas forever. But, you just got to be realistic, I think, in your analysis. And they have the greatest hitter of all time on their squad. And then that pitcher that pitched in that last game, Hope Trotwin, who transferred from North Texas, is just amazing. And what a performance she put on in her senior year. So you guys, tell me, what do you think is going to happen and why?
Man, first of all, I mean, look, props to UCLA. They did finish behind my Sun Devils in the Pac-12 this year. But that being said, look, no, it's all about the World Series, Megan. And look, it was a hell of a performance. I mean, UCLA, I mean, pitching wise, I mean, their senior pitcher, she came out and was just sick in that first game. But yeah, you can't keep the Oklahoma bats down. They proved that this year. And yeah, I mean, although it's a great story for her, I mean, being from Hawaii, I mean, look, they're a team of destiny. Nobody's beat them 2 in a row this year, obviously. And so Oklahoma State beat them once, Texas beat them once, UCLA beat them once, and those are their 3 losses, Denzel. Right. So look, I mean, hats off, because there's been a lot of amazing play, and I think it's just kind of been overshadowed by what Oklahoma's done this year. I mean, what, 144 home runs on the season. I mean, that's just insane. And look, it's not even about bringing it back to my teams, Megan, like we always get picked on for bringing it back to the Cowboys. ASU hit 104 this year. I mean, that's huge. Any year, that's huge. But you got a team that's hit 142 that has pitching like Megan said.
And they got 40 more.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have the pitching. And then, outside of that, look at their defense. They're not making those untimely mistakes. I mean, with tough plays, they're not throwing the ball away on bunts and stuff like that, Denzel. So it's hard to pick anybody but Oklahoma. But the fact that it's Denzel, I'll leave this with you on this. Like I said in the beginning, the fact it's going to be an all-12 matchup and have nothing to do with the extremely overrated SEC, which got smacked around in regionals and super regionals, I'm pretty stoked. But yeah, I just hope if Oklahoma State gets there, or if Megan's Longhorns come back, I just hope they put on a good show and the championship series does go 3 games. Because yeah, Megan, on Wednesday it's the best 2 out of 3. It resets.
Right.
So right. Wednesday. So yeah. So yeah, you have to beat Oklahoma twice. That's right. You're gonna have to beat Oklahoma twice. But man, I'm just glad there's no SEC team there. Just it makes me smile.
All right, really quick.
Oklahoma is going to. Oklahoma is going
to. Go ahead, get your point in, and we got to quick wrap it up. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, real quick. Oklahoma is going to face one of its 2 biggest rivals in the final. It's going to be either Texas or Oklahoma State. Now, as a UT fan, I cannot deny Oklahoma's prowess. You know, UCLA beat them 7-3, and then Oklahoma did not literally let them score another run. 15-0. By football standards, that's low scoring and still a shutout, decisive victory. You know, like that is crazy. That is nuts. You know, their bets have been alive all year long, and not to mention, I really and I know this is off the topic of like direct sports, but I really love what Oklahoma did regarding the victims of the shooting in Uvalde. So not only are they out there playing sound, baseball, but they got great hearts out there as well. I agree with Mike. You know, they seem like a team of destiny. I'm just hoping that destiny can be broken, But it's pretty much been all but a foregone conclusion that Oklahoma's going to steal it this year. Me and Meg hoping for a miracle, obviously. But if Oklahoma wins it, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be mad.
All right, Megan Price, we got about a minute and a half left. I'm going to let you close out the show, giving your flowers, even though I know it's not your squad, but just talking about the impact that OU has had this season.
I think when you talk OU this season, I mean, of course, you want to talk about the entirety of the team, but you have to talk about Jocelyn Allo, who has the greatest hitter of all time in college history. She's goated right now for women's college softball. So definitely, I mean, you just have to shout that out. Like you have to let facts be facts. You can't let your fandom come in on that. So also, like Mike said, they are 56-3. What a ridiculous record right there. And they have 144 home runs, and they have the 10th straight Big 12 title, and they have the 6th straight Women's College World Series app. So like they've done so much this season. They lead in so many different categories, like just juggernauts this season and for the last few seasons. So I do think that we're going to see some changes when Texas and OU go to the SEC. But I'm not going to sit there and just downplay the SEC like Mike did So, it is what it is, but Texas forever.
OU's the only team that'll help the SEC. Well, Texas too. That'll make them better.
All right, Mike, stick a pin in it because we got to get out of here. I appreciate everybody chiming in, joining us here tonight on the Sports Arena. Shout out to our man Jay Nelson, Denzel Snipes. Make sure you check him out Saturday night, 7 p.m. with the Gauntlet, 8 p.m. on Sundays for Basket Bros. And anywhere he can fill in. I believe he's going to be joining myself and Jake Malik tomorrow night on the sports on Sideline Sports, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So for Mike, for Megan, myself, for John, for Ray Lynn, and my man Denzel, we will talk to y'all later. Have a great night. See ya.